Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first actual non-stream video that we're recording for a while. So let's just say I got a little message from our good old pal, Mr. Flasium, and he let me know about his mod that he made, or his new mod. So here we are. So today we're playing a mod called Dreams of Literature Noir, and I heard it might have some trench warfare vibes. Not really sure, but yeah, the background is different than not the last episode, but the ones before that. The music's pretty cool, or not the music, but the sound effects. Mod Jam 2. Yeah, the Retro Team Mod Jam. I'm planning on playing some more mods from the Mod Jam, by the way, so. Dreams of Literature. I think this works. Let's go. Let's turn the music down a little bit. No, let's go back. Here we go. Jam, let's go. My mind, and the endless cascade of darkness, and yet somehow I thought I'd find solace in my dreams. You know, there's been times when I've thought about. I felt fortunate, really. Not many women had the privilege to work, and even less so in the law enforcement field. Assistant investigator. That's the title I'd like to be addressed as, although not many, if any, called me that. But I wouldn't let that bring me down. To me, it was enough to be Miss Monica's right-hand gal. Sure, I was mainly there to type down the reports on her jobs, and oh boy, I sure liked typing them up. But hopefully, I might eventually follow her steps into the action and learn the ropes. This is like a 30s, not 30s, like 20s type era thing. Almost done. And done! Some theory, okay. Another report perfectly crafted to describe a multiple homicide! What would be of us without those twisted criminals, am I right, miss? Try to lighten the mood a little bit and have a chat with Miss Monica. Not that it was tense. Heck, we even had the turntable playing tunes from time to time. But it didn't hurt to try and be on our good side. Indeed, Sayori. This music sounds familiar. The hell? This song was in The Landing on a Bridge! This sounds familiar! Where have I heard this from? Even though I wish crime scenes were a little cleaner for a change. Bloodstains are always a bitch to get rid of. But no, seriously. Where is this music from? It sounds like familiar. I swear this is from Leaning on a Bridge, the video that got YouTube to send me an email about risk of suicide, which, funnily enough, is a real issue I've dealt with. So somehow YouTube knew. Foul mouth as always, but I dare I try to correct her manners. Maybe I was just too naive thinking on manners when I haven't even seen the harsh reality of this profession. But could you blame me? My only experience with crime scenes and cases were from the descriptions she'd give me. I had never seen a real corpse. Perhaps I needed to see some of that stuff. But I've had my fill of gruesome texts. Oh, I wonder what a crime scene looks like with cops running around and all. Is it like in Borges' books? Drama, mystery, action? Oh, Sayori, you read too much fiction. You should really stop trying to escape reality with fairy tales. Well, reality isn't very kind to us, wouldn't you say, miss? Look, the job really isn't all that fantastic and thrilling. Most of the time we're investigating some old man who smuggled in a bit too much spirit or some blind pig in the heart of the city. I know, but it's better than staying at the office typing reports. Oh, well, perhaps. She was right, though. I do have a knack for reading fiction, although I wouldn't call them fairy tales. I really like the idea that there were good and bad guys, and that the good guys can solve impossible mysteries using only their wits and obscure clues, shutting down any hope for the dastardly villain. Oh, how many times I've written to Shim about this since I got the job. So this is when I get mentioned. He would always sneak out to the library, rummaging through the shelves of fiction in the corner of the expansive halls. When I got hired by Miss Monica, He would chuckle about how I seemed to be living out all those cop capers we would read. He'd always, well, in my case it'd be they, but they'd always, I'll just refer to myself in my own pronouns now, instead of misgendering myself. They'd always say that I'd outgrow them one day, become a big shot private investigator, and leave them in the dust. They had a very peculiar idea about themselves. Said they weren't gonna amount to much, and they liked it that way. Eventually, I convinced them that I would never outgrow them, and we promised to always write to each other and stay in contact. Which reminds me, Miss Monica? Yes? Did I get any correspondence by any chance? I'm waiting to get some responses to my letters. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to check the Would you look at that? It's a new case beckons. Picking up the blower, she rested her laurels on her crowded desk as if some social call. Always so relaxed in the face of these horrible crimes, like a man being thrown in the rivers for another Tuesday for her. So confident and assertive that she's gained the respect of all the bullies she'd met. A looker like her, she makes the men around her swoon, yet not dare to make a move. Alright, rookie, I think you can come with me this time. It's a simple case, huh? That caught me by surprise. Sure, I was wondering when I get to see some action. But all of a sudden? I did my best to keep my excitement at bay. Heck yeah! I mean, yes, sir. Lady, woman. Ma'am, I meant ma'am. I'm glad you showed me your excitement, lass. But hurry up, we have no time to waste. The longer we take, the less we make. Aren't we paid by the hour? We're paid by every solve, so we better solve this quickly. Now's the feed and all that. Right! Lightning fast, she grabbed her Borsellino and made her way out, barely giving me time to keep up. The city at night is another character. You would expect it to be rather calm and relaxing. Let me turn it down a little more. But when you look at the lonely, faint lights illuminating the darkest alleys, your mind begins to race. Wait, no, this is not from Leaning on a Bridge. This is the music we use on the podcast! Give me a sec. Hello, everybody, and welcome to State of Our Lives. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't believe I made that State of Our Lives joke. So, basically, I had always stuck to the avenues and busy streets, but I can't deny I've always had a fascination with wanting to know what lurks behind the facade. What mysteries could it be hiding? What darkness lurks in the loneliest corners? And now I found my opportunity to see just that. So what's the case, boss? I can't believe I didn't recognize where this is from! Oh, well, nothing particularly interesting. Something up the slums near the industrial district. Apparently a body washed ashore on the riverbank. So the police wouldn't want to bother with the poor sod's finale. Do you have any clues on what happened? Clues? No, we're just gonna take a look and write down notes on what we see. Basic survey, nothing more. You think this might be a murder? Please. Her chuckle echoed through the barren streets. What? A body washing up by the shore? Seems like a murder to me. And that's why you're the rookie here, little lass. We're the same age. Couldn't exactly agree with her train of thought. But then again, maybe it's my eagerness to find something thrilling in the case. And well, we haven't even arrived at the scene. Swaying through the industrial blocks buildings, we found our way to the river. The bridge was wearing a spectacle of lights, illuminated by what seemed to be deteriorating streetlights. Full moon reflected on the body of water and slight shimmering across the ripples. So, speaking of bodies, there, I see the floater bobbing just ahead. Thank God I didn't have to get wet trying to find this sack of meat. Well, I have some other thing to attend to right now, so I will be back whenever I do the other bit of this video. Hello everyone, I am back after dealing with that. Let's continue. Thank God I didn't have to get wet trying to find this sack of meat. Go ahead, take your fill, report back to me with what you see. Seriously? May I? Yeah, knock yourself out. As she told me, she pulled out a gasper, moving it up on her lips and lighting it. As she saw me standing around waiting to be dismissed, she waved at me to go, almost like swatting away a fly. Without wasting any time, I jumped over the railing onto the river's bank. I approached the swollen body. A small girl, very petite. If I were anyone else, I would have almost mistaken her for a child. She was dressed in tattered rags, her body frail and stringy. I wasn't used to the people in the slums, but her appearance definitely gave her the fact she's from the area. It had no odor to it, thankfully. She must have been relatively new then. Before I could roll her onto her back, I noticed the arms were twisted around, bones shattered, the neck was limp, and the face battered. It wasn't really all that bloated, so maybe it hadn't been floating for long. Pretty sure this was a violent attack, miss. Maybe the attacker went too far and killed her while you hear the evidence and panic. She threw it in the river, thinking no one would find it. That's not really convincing. She told me she lit another cig. After a long puff and a blow of smoke, she came back at me. Smoke? She asked while holding up the pack of cigarettes to my face. Not one for these coffin nails. See it yourself. Look, Sayuri, what I see here is a suicide victim. See the bridge? It's not uncommon to see folks jumping off of it. What brought out the bruises and broken bones it has all over? It's simple. It's been floating for a while now. Honestly, I'd be surprised if it didn't have any damage. The lack of odor shows she's been recently offed. In the water bloating. Odor does not build up, but in the insides. Furthermore, bruises prove nothing anyway. Look a little closer, you'll see a faint, yellowish discoloration. That, Dolly, indicates the bruising happened long before. Oh, I see. It made sense, but there's a little detail in the logic that kept poking at my mind. Old bruises? That many? But wouldn't that indicate it wasn't the first time she got attacked? Ugh, listen. That actually means you've got your suicide motive. She got hit by some bird, whether it be a family member or some such things. Hated her life, jumped off a bridge. Congratulations, case closed. But that means that case closed. Let's go back to the office and write the report. Are you sure? Not many cases are this simple, so don't look a gift horse in the mouth, alright, lassie? Just settle in and get whatever dough we can. Alright. Come on, chop chop! She took the lead and I followed. As expected with my assistant position, but still, I wasn't pleased with how everything went down. My every suggestion was shut down because she knew better. Wouldn't call it anger, but a heavy disappointment is what I felt. Even with how we handled the body. Say, miss, what's gonna happen with the body now? Huh? Oh! Well, technically that's the police's work. This is a very low priority case, as you saw. They just don't bother a lot with the report. That's just wrong. Justice is for everyone. Alright, lassie, don't go around puking out what you read from some novel. In the end, it's money that makes the world go round. A detective from a precinct would never come here for this kind of a case. It's simply not worth their time. So they're just gonna let it rot at the river's bank? I can't deny that's a possibility. But I don't like to think I drink that same water. Her laugh made me realize how she's able to shrug off any guilt she may have. Perhaps someday, I'll be able to be as mentally strong. On the bright side, I did see my first corpse and barely reacted to that fact. It seems that all literary research was no waste after all. Alright, Sayori, I know you may still be excited, but I think I'm gonna leave the report to you. It's been a long night, so maybe you want to leave it for tomorrow. Are you not coming in, miss? Nah, I'm done for tonight. We'll meet tomorrow evening. Sure thing. With a slight wave, she walked away to her apartment, leaving me at the office door. She would let me stay at the office so I could use it to sleep at night and avoid renting. I was very grateful for that. Money wasn't very easy to come by during these trying times. Even though I was about to collapse, I still had to write a letter for Shim. They would want to hear all about the events of today. In the morning, I'd go to the post office and drop off the letter. So I began my report. Couldn't help but let out a small giggle. Dearest, today's correspondence is dated Friday, the 1st of April. The last message was dated Wednesday, the 27th of January. I formally inform you that I have seen my first corpse. Fortunately, I beat you to it. It would have been a shame if one of our kin had passed while I was away from home. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like we always imagined. An intricate case with millions of clues to follow, bad guys to track down, but reality struck me a little hard today. And apparently, we don't get to investigate much in this investigation job. The victim in this case was a small-frame female, whose corpse was found floating in the river. Now for my version of the story. I think she was murdered. She said her arms bones shattered, and her neck was twisted around. The face was old, covered in old bruises, and that just couldn't be an accident. Despite what I saw and thought, Miss Monica came to the conclusion that it was a suicide, without further investigation. Can you believe that? But like I said, in reality, it all came down to time, invested in money issues. We had other cases, and to her, this was an open case. No fun allowed. I hope things are progressing more smoothly with you, and I can't wait to hear from you again. I miss you so much. With love, Sayori. I always thought it was cute how we would treat them like official reports. We even figured out a format to keep the constant letters entertaining. I neatly folded the letter into 4 squares, placing it into an envelope to send the next morning. My synchronized fingers were on fire, writing down the report as fast as I could before Monica's arrival at the office. I never learned to do my backlog before it was too late. My darn laziness continued to chase me. Why, hello there, my coral lass. Working hard or hardly work? Yes. Oh, well, you needn't do it before I got here, you know. I'm an efficient worker, miss. Ha! I can see. She entered the office and placed her hat on the coat hanger. I began shaking my hands a bit, for my wrists and fingers were screaming at me. I watched as she got to the turntable, elegantly picking out a record and slowly placing it on the platter of the record player. Oh, sorry. I put a lot of effort into this mod, it looks like. Her hands had gently reached the needle and began playing a smooth tune to accompany us for what seemed to be another uneventful evening. She returned to her seat and took out another one of her daily smokes. Want a snipe, Sayori? I'd rather not. Suit yourself. Any word on the correspondence, Miss Monica? As if being asked to move a heavy boulder up a hill, Monica sighed loudly and deeply, making sure to remove the cigarette beforehand. I just got here, Sayori. I didn't have the time to check. Well, if you're tired, miss, I could check for you. Don't you dare. Her sudden response had a shiver down my spine, elevating my heartbeat. Needless to say, I was caught off guard. Even though she had been the gentlest soul, never been seen her so aggressive. It seemed that you've forgotten that my personal mail is delivered here as well. I told you before that I didn't get any for you, and that surely remains to be the case. Do not bring up going through my stuff again. Sorry, miss, I thought... Clearly not enough. So much for being an investigator. Her words struck me deeply. I felt like a kid who didn't know how to behave and was being spoken to like one as well. My gaze found itself guided to the floor. I'm sorry, Sayori. It's the stress. I shouldn't have reacted that way. I brought my head up again. It's all right, miss. I understand. Atta girl. Right on cue. Hopefully we have a new case in our hands. It'll be a good opportunity to train you up, don't you think? With a smile and a quick wink, she turned to attend to the call. What just happened had me confused. A sudden whiplash of emotions, as if Monica had an entire other person residing within her. But if she's going to take me to another case, maybe it wasn't all that bad. Perhaps this time, I could prove myself. As she finished her talk, she took a moment and looked at me. Well, it seems we've got a hot one in our hands. Really, miss? Yeah, come on now. Grab your coat and I'll brief you while we walk. I don't have a coat. Oh. Well, shake a leg. Without saying anything further, she grabbed her hat and took off. I wasn't far behind. This time, we walked for a while. The scenery was nothing like yesterday's. We passed through the residential area, which now showcased more and more empty abandoned houses. We were heading towards the richest parts. I've been there only a couple of times. Firstly, you'd see the houses get bigger and taller, further away of another one as you progress. Until eventually, you can't even see the houses as they hide in the middle of acres upon acres of private land. You find yourself following a seemingly endless fence, marking the edges that divide riches from rags. Unfortunately, the middle class was evaporating into poverty, thus highlighting the difference even further. So here's the details provided by the initial police survey. A high-class woman was found dead inside her mansion's library. Apparently the husband is a very successful businessman, major shareholder of a metallurgical company. He's been out of the apple for a while now, supposedly making subsidy deals with politicians. So someone knew that the big fish was away and tried to get a piece of the riches. Beats me. I still haven't seen the scene, you know? Ah, right, of course. You really need to stop assuming things, Sayori. Can't help. This could be the big one. Right. Again, I had my noggin race, thinking on how this could have gone down. There's no way this time was going to be a boring case without mystery. We arrived at the place, greeted by an iron gate with sturdy brick pillars on each side. A couple of officers were waiting there this time around. Already, the differences with yesterday's case were showing. Pleasant night, fellers. Evening, dollface. Took your sweet time. Give me a break. I'm here to do my job. Hey, woo, relax. Say, how about we hit the speakeasy after this mess? Maybe. If it wasn't illegal, you chump. You're a cop. And? Forget it. So who's the muffin? The man swiped me from top to bottom with his gaze. It amazed me how Monica could keep her cool with all this. Goons as cops with little morals and might as well be mercenaries. Greetings, I'm the investigator's assistant. She's gonna come along and take a look with me. She's coming after too? Keep dreaming. Anyways, tell me, have you heard anything else besides the initial report? Perhaps. Maybe a honey cooler will light up my... Pally, you better keep your mouth shut if all you do is keep yapping garbage like that. Jesus, alright, lady, damn. I've heard that the butter and egg man went dizzy with a dam. Ed made mention him and his woman having huge arguments over the phone. Good boy, finally something worthwhile out of your mouth. With a smirk on his face, the man tipped his cap and let us through. We walked across the paved road, past a fountain that led us to enormous wooden doors. This time, we had something to work with, it seemed. Already, we've heard some clues. This is exciting. As we approached the pompous entrance, the doors creaked open, and a butler let us in. He led us straight to the library for us to take a look at the scene. Murder! Sayori, please. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyways, I've seen enough. How? Don't worry, I'll let you have your fill. Go on, take a look. Right. I approached the body. A shocker to me. She was around our age. I concluded she was either in it for the dough, or her tastes were a bit more developed than most. But never mind all that. She wore a dress and a fancy arrangement of plumes as a headwear. The cause of death was very clear. A vile, deep wound in the center of her chest, all the way down to her heart. Her mouth was slightly parted. Strands of blood escaped from it. The body was as fresh as it was just found. Even the blood was wet enough to smear what it touched. Eyes left wide open. Couldn't seem to find hints of struggle, unfortunately. Walking down the room, I described to Monica what I'd been observing. She already had a lit cigarette, was enjoying herself. Care for up. Now you see, the fact that I'm not cis or het allows me to say this word. Now, I don't want to. So, care for a cig? Might ease your mind a bit. I'll have to say no. So obviously she died of blood loss. Oh, Sherlock, tell me more. I'll take that as a compliment. Can't seem to find the weapon though, which is concerning. I'm going to make it easier for you. She killed herself out of anguish over her husband cheating on her. I don't know, I don't think we're... Oh Christ, no. Felt the cracking noise coming from under my feet beneath the rug. This is the lead. I uncovered the floor and found a bunch of crystal shards shattered, looking like they hid them in a rust. There's a sign of struggle, but... Without paying attention to Monica, I began looking around the room. I could tell she was not as happy. She began tapping her foot while smoking her cigarette. Searching through the shelves of books, I found an odd-looking case full of extravagant knives and ornate short swords. So one of these could have been used for the deed. Right, but do you know what else this reveals? What? That she was also a nutcase. See? Case closed. No, not yet. It just doesn't fit. Sayori, listen! If they had the time to clean the blades thoroughly and put it back in place, why didn't they take time to take care of the other loose ends? I couldn't just stand there and ponder and to gather evidence. Sayori, where are you going? I rushed past her, going straight to the dinner hall. I needed to know. I started going through all the cutlery cabinets, searching for what I was hoping to find. Have you lost your mind? Just let me do this. I am not. You did not hire me to be your assistant. Just to stand around and type up stupid reports, did you? A wooden knife holder with a missing blade. Ah, look, miss! There is a missing blade. I knew there was something to this whole case. We have to go interrogate the servants. I know, maybe one of the handmaidens, or perhaps the butler, or... What if it was the policeman? Settle down, for God's sake. That missing blade means nothing. I told you she committed suicide because she was cheating on. The fact she had a knack for knives proves she is not a stable person. What? No, but she was a gold digger. Being cheated on would mean nothing to her. Now think, Sayori, since you seem to think you're smart, wouldn't she be kicked out of here if the man decided to change women? I mean, maybe, but... This discussion is over. We're heading back to the office. What the hell? This is outrageous. How can you say with so much confidence that it was suicide? Enough. No, I'm not just gonna believe that she committed suicide even though It's not about what you believe. People kill themselves. It's a cruel world. Deal with it. Now shut your beak and follow me. You better write the report as I told you. Dejectedly, I followed her as she headed out of the mansion. My frustration was unbearable. But despite everything, I still felt like an idiot. I let my curiosity, my hunger for thrill, get in the way, and in the end, I impeded my investigation. I really feel like Monica is just... Like, with this whole investigation, Monica's just lying, and just to get Sayori off the trail. And none of these were suicide. It was all just, like, Natsuki's dad, and then someone, or Yuri could have been suicide. I don't know. What first started off as anger and frustration at her began being turned inwards. Can't believe your recklessness. Had I known just how delusional you were. She kept finding new and interesting ways to verbally berate me on our way back to the office. I kept silent. To think I'd been shot down in such a way that was tearing me apart. As we reached the office, she had fallen silent as well. The tension in the air could have been cut with a knife. We exchanged looks across the office space, her eyebrows furrowed and her lips constantly parting and closing, seemingly mumbling to herself. Every time our eyes made contact, my head would fling away. As she took her hat and made her way to the exit, she looked back at what I could only assume was my distressed expression. Before I go, Sayori, I want to be clear. I'm not mad at you. I just want you to see the world for what it is, and not what you hoped it was. My face is already buried in paperwork. I'll leave you be for the night. Okay, miss. And so, she turned around, heading to her apartment. Hot-headed as I was, I tried my best to relax a bit and recall everything that happened. Monica may be right, though. Might be looking at reality with too much innocence. But how am I supposed to believe the two cases were suicide? Maybe the first girl, that case didn't have any strong leads to follow. But tonight's case, on the other hand, it doesn't make any sense. We didn't even interrogate the servants or any other suspect. I muttered to myself as I got up and saw the turntable lying there, gathering dust. Maybe I could roll some tunes to ease my mood. I carefully placed a random record from the file. Now it was time to write my letter to Shim. Perhaps now I can finally get my frustrations out of my mind. Ooh, a new letter. Today's correspondence is dated Saturday the 2nd of April. Last message was received Wednesday 27th January. I'm deeply sorry I don't have the spirit to write it like I normally do. Today was a mess of emotions and events, turning around from exciting and intriguing to disheartening and disappointing. Monica took me to my second case. Sounds like great news, right? It really was for a good wait. Oh. There's a high-class lady who had been murdered inside her mansion with early leads, looking to be like one of the complicated murder mysteries in the books I used to read. Needless to say, I was ecstatic, and Miss Monica even let me do my own investigating. It had me hooked. The corpse was an enormous stab wound all the way to her heart, but there was no weapon inside. So my mind was racing, and I started looking, till I found a missing knife in the kitchen. We obviously had to start asking the servants around, but guess what? Monica called it a suicide. Barely any effort put into the investigation or looking for clues, just a declaration. I was about to lose my mind after that. Just imagine. It's times like this where I wish I had you by my side. You always knew how to make me feel better. Honestly, I need a hug and someone to tell me I wasn't completely wrong for thinking the way I do. Sometimes I wish we were kids again, when we were never far apart for long. And now I haven't heard from you in a while. I'll never get your letters back. It's like you left me. I hope you haven't. Please respond for me soon. I need to hear from you. Always yours, Sayori. Writing the last lines, I couldn't hold my tears. Like a small drizzle, a couple droplets reached the paper. I would rewrite it once again, but I was just too tired. I laid on the couch, crying for a bit till I dozed off. Monica was reading a paper while I wrote yesterday's case report. Without taking her eyes away from the paper, she put a platter on the player. As for my typing, I was nearly done. Just a couple more lines. It is finished, miss. Marvelous. Leave it here on the desk and I'll send it by the mail. Talking about mail, I was wondering. The answer is no. I didn't get any mail for you. She didn't look. What? You know what? This is bullshit, Monica. Where are my letters? It's been too long. Oh, darling, let me guess. Are you waiting for that guy to reply? Yes. It's not like him or them to take this long to send a letter back. You should forget about them. Who knows? Maybe they already found some other broad. Her comment struck me like a hammer. What if she was right? What if they had found someone else and simply forgotten me? I refuse to believe it. Shim would never look at you and all in shambles for some Joe. I'm not. Sure thing, dear. Monica, give me my... She has letters. Just a moment. Just a moment. Oh yeah, I have her turn, by the way. She turned to answer the call. Even though I was being rude and screaming at her, she wouldn't even react. She kept her cool and now is lighting a cigarette while speaking to the tube like nothing happened. Alright, that was easy. Huh? Don't we have a new case? I don't understand if you don't... No, it's not that. I just don't need to go to the scene. Please already went through it. What was it about? Someone reported a foul stench coming from her apartment or residential building. Please don't throw it. Papa told me it's suicide, so I'm not bothering with this one. Ain't you gonna follow what the lazy brutes tell you? Why would you call you if you already knew the answer? I am not going to stand idle and file a case without even looking at the scene. Hey, relax, Sayori. Don't tell me to relax, Monica. Take a puff. It's gonna make you feel calmer. She held the cigarette up to me, half smoked. I just mic'd a stench from her calls placed in my mouth and took a long breath. My lungs felt with the burning smoke, making me cough violently as I choked. Threw the rest of the lit cigarette on the floor. How? The hell was that supposed to calm me down? That said, I'm going to the scene just like an investigator should. I'm going to prove you all wrong. She didn't even try to stop me as I grabbed the notepad and left. This time I walked alone. My downtown was not too far away. The nerve of that woman to try and close a case without even taking a look! Outrageous! But I had this fire burning inside me. The determination to show myself my worth. Despite everything, I was unstoppable. Right before I thought about asking the passersby, I found an apartment building with 2 coppers guarding the door. Ace, if I had to bet, this might be the place. If I'm not, I could always ask nicely. I approached the officers and they turned to face me. Evening, kitten. Well, hello, officers. I'm not interested, but I believe there's an investigation going on here, right? Perhaps? Who's asking? Oh, I'm Inspector Sayori. I was called to survey the scene and write down a report. All right, lady, but you see, I've been here for a couple of hours now with all that putrid smell. How about a reward? I'm sorry, but I stumbled on my words as I reconsidered to properly handle it. Keep dreaming, officer. I stepped inside. Passed between the feeling of a hand groping my bottom. Whoa, don't get angry, ballface. It doesn't make you look pretty. Those filthy bastards. I boiled with rage. Oh, she's mad now. Watch out. I really wanted to slap the man's soul out of his body, but clenched my fist and gritted my teeth and turned around, heading toward the scene. I really didn't need that at the moment. Why couldn't I handle them like Monica does? Their laughter faded as I moved inside the building. To keep the bitter thoughts away, I tried to focus on the case. The stench was really strong, so finding the door was not hard at all. I took out my notepad and looked at the doorknob. Taking a quick breath, I prepared myself. I'm ready. Determined, I opened the door. My initial analysis... What the hell? Is that? No. This makes sense. It's impossible. It can't be. It can't be. I told you so. I suddenly wake up, soaked in sweat. What was that? My hands are shaking. Monica, I'm supposed to do the thing for the festival with her. What was the thing again? The pamphlets. Maybe I can ask Shim to come out. No, wait, they're busy. They're busy spending the day with her. They'll probably have fun, right? More fun with me, because it's better that way than them. Better they enjoy themselves than be saddled with me. This is awful. I cower under my sheets for a while. I hear a faint knock coming from my bedroom door. Is that? I don't want this, not now. I want to be alone. Wait, so all this was a dream? Oh my gosh, Flasium, that was perfect. I'm sorry it's taken me like 3 separate recording files to do this, because I've had like... So I'm not really used to recording anymore, and I've just had to go back and forth, and it feels like I'm not really expressing myself here, because I'm forced into like a time frame, and... That was good! This one was like more story-based than any of the other mods we've played so far. I will say that. But hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of my content, you support what I do, you want to, like, I don't want to be stuck in visual novels forever. Yes, it's fun, but not really for me anymore, it's just felt like. And I feel like I'm forcing myself to do this just to make certain people happy, and it's just... It shouldn't be. But I do stream on Twitch at... twitch.tv/ShimStreams. But yeah, I will see you all next time. This is the end of this video.